Okay, viewers and listeners. So, we are speaking today about illegal crossing of roads. Now, as you already know, we've been speaking previously about the footbridges which people have refused to cross. Now, because these footbridges are long, people have decided to be crossing the roads to save time and to avoid all this unnecessary exercise. When you look on your screens right now, you will notice that though the footbridges are still present, the majority move on the road, and some even don't only just cross the road, they actually walk leisurely on the road. People actually move on the road like it's their house. See how close someone is to the vehicle, and yet there's no speed to move away from the cars. So, people have termed this illegal crossing of roads as a bad thing, but then there are two sides to the story. When you look at how people have to be fast about certain things, you would understand why there's the need to cross the road without necessarily following the footbridge route. But this is dangerous, and if you take a good look at the screen on what is playing right now, you will notice the danger in what we are saying. Sometimes the cars get so close to these individuals, and that's where the problem is. For some, they may shift away or move in such a manner that they wouldn't be hit by the vehicle. But there are those who also don't care about how the vehicle is speeding, and there are those who also still stay almost close to the car, like what you are watching right now. This guy is going to be approached by a blue car which will come so close to him it will almost hit him, and he'll have to move back and throw his hand away like, why did he do that? But you also have to understand that this driver had to do that because he wanted to enter the lane in which you were standing in. That is where the cars are supposed to use. So because of this illegal crossing of roads, it causes problem for both the drivers and those who cross the roads this way. As you saw, different cars move from the middle lane to the right lane, the most right out lane. Now, when you are there and you're about to cross, you sort of pose a hindrance to the free flow of vehicles, such vehicles that will want to enter that lane. So this is the problem. Now, when we look at this, we have to also be analytical with regards to how these drivers also approach some of these pedestrians. We know that definitely these pedestrians may not supposed to be at that part of the road because the footbridge is there, but there are some drivers which are so merciless. They don't care whether someone is crossing. They will just continue driving past. They don't really care. You see, they are going to wherever they want to go. So if you don't hurry up and cross, hey, you might just as well be hit by a vehicle. So this is it. But should it be so? Should the drivers not care that this pedestrian is crossing at a place where it's not supposed to cross, and because of that, drive so close to him that he almost knocks him off? I mean, come on, man. This is the reason why if you're on these roads and you observe these things that happen, you hear drivers and such pedestrians having arguments most time where they speak in tree. You hear things like you get it. There's just this antagonistic nature between the two types of road users, the motorists and then the pedestrians. So we want to know what is the right way to go. As a nation, we all have a part to play. Now, anytime something confronts us like this, we have to look at it from both views and from all angles to see how best to tackle it and to keep ourselves from danger, to keep the pedestrians from being hit by vehicles, and also to keep the cars from deliberately, and I use the word deliberately, hitting pedestrians. Because it has also come to our notice that some drivers are not fast enough when they see pedestrians on the road, but there are those who deliberately hit them. It's funny. You would be shocked to see that there are some drivers who would step even more on the accelerator when they see someone coming crossing the road because they just don't want the person to be there. It's very dangerous, and we want to urge such drivers to please, we beg of you, please show a little mercy. And you see what happened right now. The guy was crossing, but the taxi didn't care. He was going. He had to go. You get what I was saying? So please, drivers, show just a little patience and a little empathy. Just come on, just a little understanding. We know the pedestrians are not supposed to necessarily be there because there's a footbridge for them, but for most of you drivers, you can be more patient. We beg of you, please and please, save a life. Don't even always have to get close to some of these pedestrians. And sometimes even you don't have to necessarily put it in your mind that you are saving a life, but you could also work at not getting too close to a pedestrian. Now, when you watch the screens right now, you'll notice how these people cross the roads. They first cross to the middle, which is sometimes it's a slab, and in this case they are like sort of like rib gauges, to prevent the pedestrian or the cars from going to the other end. So these things that divide the roads into two, depending on how wide they are, they can be a rest point for such pedestrians who cross. But there are some places where the roads have this slab, just a single slab dividing the two express roads, and because of that there's not much place for such a pedestrian who wants to cross the road to stay and to sort of rest. You get me? From what you're watching on screens right now, this is one where it's more like another road on its own where a human being can rest, because there are even trees that have been planted there. This is good. The problem is that there are some places where instead of this in the middle, there's a slab, this concrete slab, just a long one that just divides the two places. The problem here is when such pedestrians cross the roads and they get to this point, there's little or no room for them to stay. So they have to either lean on the slab, or some of them even stand on it. Like they stand on it. They don't even squat, they stand. They stand like the way you be standing on the ground. They'll stand on it, and the slab is very small. So we want to be careful, because just in case, God forbid, but in case something happens and you slip from the slab, or some strong wind from somewhere blows you off, who knows? You might just land right in front of a speeding vehicle. And you know that there are some of these cars that are very fast. They move with almost the speed of lightning. They just shoot, then they are gone. Shoot, then they are gone. Before you know, shoot, then pow, they hit you and you are gone. You get it? So to avoid the shoot and you are gone syndrome, just make sure you do your best to be more careful. We will not tell you make sure to cross the footbridge, to use the footbridge. We will not tell you make sure you always use the footbridge. But what we'll tell you is, in case you are not using it, please be very careful. Now, the reason why we are not forcing people to cross the roads, to cross the road using the footbridge is, we came to a conclusion that the footbridge is not really ideal for all situations. It is the best for saving lives, no doubt, 100%. When it comes to saving lives, when it comes to avoiding certain troubles on the road, it's the best. Even not only for those who walk, but for those who use bicycles, for those who use motorcycles, for those who use wheelchairs, and for those who push trucks. You know these trucks that are used in loading stuff? It's good for them. This type of footbridges are good for them. Now, for those who are not in this category of the people who may use the footbridge using these type of wheelchairs, bikes and the rest, when they are in a hurry, what happens is, when they are in a hurry, they have to cross the road illegally. Yes, it's called illegal crossing of road, not necessarily because it's a crime, because it is not accepted since the footbridge is there. When the footbridge wasn't there, it wasn't called illegal crossing of roads, but now that the footbridge is present, yeah, it's not me, it's the system, it's the terms they call it, illegal crossing of roads. Now, I don't know how much more detail you need to understand the word illegal, but yeah, that is it. So because it was termed as illegal crossing of roads, the police were employed to catch some people and arrest them for crossing the roads this way. In the past, we saw videos and we heard of a lot of news, and people were complaining that the action that the police were embarking on was unfair. And they explained that not everyone was delighted in using the footbridge. Moreover, when the footbridge wasn't there, the police wasn't arresting them, so to them it is still the same thing as if the footbridge is not there. They don't see why the police should arrest them. If in case the footbridge was not around, they claim the police will not come and arrest them because the footbridge is not present. So if they can still use that same way to cross the road, why can't they cross the road now that the footbridge is there and not be arrested? Yeah, so people have given their reasons. Others also express the fact that when you are in a hurry and you have something urgent to do, there is no other way to go about it than to cross the road in such a way. You get it? Now, when you pay particular attention to this, you would realize that it is understandable from that point of view. Come on, man, let's favor everyone. let's not be so law like as a nation. It's good to follow the laws. It's very good, and we will never, even as a news agency, we will never, encourage the citizens to break the laws and to go against the rules. But come on, we have to be fair. We are also human beings. We have to favor both sides and see how it will be applicable to everyone, not just to those who make the laws. You get it? Now, think about this. The normal man, the normal hustler, the normal food seller, hawker, whatever, has to definitely come in contact with these roads one way or the other. Think about it. There are people who have got to meet urgent demands. There are people who can lose their job in a matter of seconds if they are not there on time. There are people who have to go get some clinic aid, something from the hospital, just something that is very urgent. And because of this, they won't be able to cross the long footbridge, which is like going back and coming again. When the image comes on your screen, like you can see right now, you notice that the footbridge is not easy to cross because there are different types of channels that lead to the main footbridge, and to even use those channels is like walking back and forth for like 5 minutes. It's not easy. It's not even 5 minutes. Sometimes it's even more than 5 minutes, depending on the strength of the person that is walking on the road, and also depending on the agility and how the person is. Like an old man wouldn't use 5 minutes because a young man has more energy. An old man could probably use like 10 minutes. An old man could even use more because he has to take every step carefully. He has to make sure that he doesn't make too much of a bend that will cause him to be immobile, to be paralyzed. You get what we are saying? So we have to be fair to all these parties. And then there are also those who raise the topic that the hawkers who are, though they are not mainly there for like the way the pedestrians are there, the hawkers are always on the road selling their wares, selling their food, selling all these types of products, and they are always even in the middle of the road, not just walking by the side. Sometimes you see them even standing in the middle where the lines have been demarcated for the lanes to be divided into. You see that some of these traders are actually standing on those lines. They are now the ones that are dividing the road for the cars. These traders are actually the ones who will be standing on that line. So when a car wants to switch to another lane, he cannot switch as easy as he would when a hawker is there. So the point that people are raising is that if such a hawker can stand in the middle of the road and the police will not arrest them because they understand that they are selling their food, why won't the police understand those who want to cross the road? Because it's the same place that they are standing. Are you saying that those hawkers who are selling on the road and are walking on the roads in the middle of the lanes and all of that, are you saying that they are more talented to use the road, or they are more gifted to be on the road? Or are you saying they have some sort of spiritual guidance on the road that others don't use? No, because even those hawkers also get involved in accidents. We see it all the time. There are times where you see a pure water seller has been crushed, and even if you are not there at the moment, you drive past and you notice that different sachets of pure water have fallen on the ground, and sometimes you see some have burst, sometimes you see blood on the ground. Then you always only jump to the conclusion that somebody who was selling pure water has been hit by a car. It happens all the time. Sometimes you see meat pie, sometimes you see buffrot. For those of you who are not localized and are listening to this, buffrot is like it's some form of a snack. It's like bread. It's sort of fried. It's fried, but then it's like bread. So you see buffrot plenty on the ground. There are times you see different things. It could be even these cotton buds, this things that people sell on the road. You get it? So why will you say that such a hawker can use the road like the road is her compound, and yet the pedestrian who crosses it will be termed as an illegal crosser? So these were the reasons that sparked it up. So there's been a lot of backlash, there's been a lot of up and down, there's been a lot of exchanges of words between some of those pedestrians who were arrested in the past and the policemen. They couldn't understand the policemen, but we, from our point, we understood the policemen, not because they are necessarily doing what is right, but because they are doing what they have to do to save lives. Remember, the policemen, they don't go there just to go and save people's life. They have been asked to. So if the police is not told, go here and make sure people don't cross, he wouldn't go. So you cannot go and blame the policeman either. So that is it. These are the illegal crossing of roads that is happening right now. And we just hope that the pedestrians will be more careful. Also the hawkers and generally road users, even the drivers, please, repeat for the drivers, please, even though someone is crossing you in a way you are not happy about, please don't hit them. Please don't get too close to them. We beg of you. Yeah, so that is it. Have a nice day and enjoy. Just you can leave your comments about what you think. Should this crossing of roads be banned or should we continue? Or what suggestion do you have for the way forward? Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.